Thank you, everybody.
Oh, sorry.
We do need one of those things. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining me today. This is our third episode of Healthy Me Journey, and today I have a very special guest with me today, Diana Starkey with Diana Starkey Health Coaching. Very, very dear friend to me, and I am so excited that she's come along with me on Healthy Me Journey and will be talking to us today about her journey and what she does as a health coach.
Thank you for having me on, Tara. It's a pleasure, and I can't wait to have you.
I think the really cool thing was getting to know you, and then you just talking about what it is where your passion is, and it was an immediate connection. I don't know.
Well, we were both in that health space, and so obviously there's a connection of us wanting to help people with their, improve their health and get out of whatever mindset they're in that keeps them from getting healthier, which there's a lot.
And now we do health coaching. What was that? Because you went through IIN, right?
Yes, I went through IIN. I decided to retire from Marathon and took a job working from home. So that's what I do now. I work from home as a oil broker. But in the meantime, I thought this is a perfect opportunity for me to go back to school because I love to learn and I love the health space. So then I went back to join IIN and got my health certificate. And after that, I immediately knew this is what I'm meant to do. This is the space that I really want to be in. And just kind of fell in love with, the whole holistic health coach thing. Because I know that that's the space that people need to look at their health from, is a holistic space versus what we have going on now with all the, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but with all of the, doctors and the pharmaceuticals and things that they just want to give you a quick fix for, and it doesn't really address the issues.
So now, because I know when you first started, because we've had the conversations over and over about who you really wanted to work with, and I know that you kind of now have a targeted area, a specific niche that you like working.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth because it's when you first get into the space, like, you have no idea. You just want to help everybody. And that's kind of impossible. Because if you put a generic, general niche out there saying, I'm going to help everybody get healthy, then nobody comes to you. So I've had to learn how to hone it down and, kind of focus on a niche. And I've changed it, of course, over the course of the last year. I went from niching into gut health into now I'm more targeting small business owners, because as one of my assignments, I had to go and interview small business owners and ask them what their struggles were and get to know them and find out, what they were struggling with health-wise. And when I did that, I immediately saw the dots starting to connect with small business owners. The stress levels, the putting the business first, putting themselves second or last, and all of the issues that small business owners started to have, and the same complaints, the same issues were coming up over and over. And I thought, that's really where I should be honing in on, is small business owners that are struggling with their health, because they put it on the back burner to, of course, promote their own small business.
Absolutely. Yeah. The funny thing is that I find so fascinating is you definitely have the heart for it. And I have truly, truly enjoyed our conversations that we have had. And we've really, not only on a professional relationship, but friend relationship as well, because we've made that connection and understanding of one another, I think. And I found that it's been awesome. just getting to know you, knowing the person that you are and what your passions are. And I'm really excited to see where health coaching goes for you. As now that you have it, like, this is who I want to work with. You've done some workshops as well. Done an online workshop.
Yep, I sure did. It was geared towards small business owners again.
Yeah.
To let them know that there's a connection among you, that you're not alone in your journey of, gosh, I have my small business that I started and now my health is gone, to the wayside. I don't know how to get my health back. Like, there's definitely connections with small business owners that have gone through, building a business. So that's where I wanted to do the workshop and kind of showcase that connection of small business owners and let them know that there's actually help. There's things that we can do to get your health back on track if you're ready to focus on yourself. Because sometimes it requires you being a little bit selfish for yourself, which is necessary in a health journey.
Oh, yeah. You told me that many times.
Yeah. Our journey together has been really phenomenal. I didn't anticipate it, I guess, when I first met you. Like, we'd go for a casual coffee and just chit chat and, talk about our businesses. But then it very quickly grew into a friendship, and we've talked a lot about personal issues and, personal development and that sort of thing. And it's funny how God will just throw people into your life without you really realizing what's going on, and then pretty soon you're looking back and go, okay, that's what that's about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really grateful that we were that we've met through BNI, but then it's grown into so much more.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. This one, I would say, as far as our friendship goes, I mean, you're right. We just met for coffee, and we like, hey, let's just do a meeting every other week and get together and talk. And it was always one of those things I can remember telling her, we need to stop talking about me and we need to talk more about you. But it ended up like I was in a very, very dark place for quite a while, and there's just a number of people that knew that dark place and really helped me through it. And you were one of them. That, Tara, we're meeting, we're going to talk about this. And even when I was going through counseling, and we would talk about, this is what the counselor said, and you helped me through it, completely helped me through it, and checking and making sure that everything was okay. And I look at it as, if I had a coach that had the heart that you do, that you're going to win. I mean, anyone that you would be coaching is going to be very, very blessed to have you.
There's a reason why when we met, and yes, it's a friendship, but I also could sense where you were at, even though I didn't know you very well. Like, my intuition sometimes for where people are in their space and their head, I've got a really keen sense, and I could just tell that you were hurting and that I just needed to listen. And a lot of times that's what people need. They just need somebody to listen, to understand, to acknowledge, not to judge, and just be there. Yes, you can make a suggestion or two, but most of the time, people need to come to their own conclusion of what they need to do. I just need to be there to guide you in the right path.
Right.
Because if I tell you to do something, maybe not. But if I ask the right questions, and then you get to thinking, maybe that's what I should be doing. Maybe let me try that. Mm-hmm. The suggestion from yourself is more powerful and motivating you to do something than it ever is for me. So I've always loved our get-togethers, our chats, and they're very meaningful for me because I learn just as much about myself and about you as I do, just listening to you. So it's helped me grow immensely.
Oh, wow. I'm glad my situation did that for you.
Well, it does, because as a coach, I'm always learning as a coach, right?
Yeah.
And you have so many different personalities and so many different situations that people go through that you've, I might not always have the answer, right away, but, it's like I've got to think about some of these things too. And as I listen to people and, can make suggestions and we grow together, it just helps me be a better coach.
You know what I find very fascinating, we've talked about this many times, is one of my things that I look into people is trust. We've had that conversation many times. And you have made our conversations and the coaching that you did, even though we weren't coaching, you made the space safe. You made it feel as there was no judgment. And I think for a lot of people, that's one of the first things that they think of when they have a health coach, or some type of coach. Oh, there's going to be judgment because I didn't do this right, or I wasn't doing this right. And it wasn't like that at all. It was like, I can tell her this, or I did this, and you would either laugh about it or Tara, But then you made me think about it in a different way. If it was something that I shouldn't be really thinking or doing, which is really awesome too.
Well, people are judged enough these days, and the last thing they need is to go to a health coach for help and feel like they're being judged again, because that's the last thing that I ever want a client to do, is feel like I'm judging them. That's the least helpful thing that you can do for somebody. It's just open your heart, open your mind, open your ears, and just listen. Because God knows none of us are perfect. We've all made mistakes. And how can you sit in judgment of somebody else when you've made your own mistakes? So, yeah. I just love, that's one of the things I pride myself on, is trying to provide that space of comfort and trust so that people truly can open up to me. Because if you can't open up to me and tell me, something that you're fearful of, what am I doing?
How can you help? Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So what is your health journey look like?
So I think there's two reasons why I really got into the health coach space. I've wanted to for quite a few years, but there's two things that really sent me over, to the edge of going back to school for health coaching. One was COVID, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
In going through that, what we all went through, and seeing the damage that it did to people mentally, physically, how it was handled poorly. And yes, these are all my personal opinions, but I'm going to stand by them. We're all entitled. And I'm not judging anybody for how they feel about that, those couple of years, but it really did a number on people. And I saw my own family, my own friends suffer. And the second piece of it that kind of, and I'll jump back into some of that other stuff, but the second piece of it that kind of tiptoed me toward health coaching is I myself had a goal. I've always wanted to participate in bodybuilding. I have always loved how women with a very toned look to them doing the weightlifting looked. And for years, I'd always, read the magazines. Oxygen was my favorite. Mm-hmm. And it was always one of those things on my bucket list. And when I started with my personal trainer, she's like, she goes, you should come compete with me. I was like, I don't know. I'm like, well, I thought, you know what? I'm going to be 50. So, you know what? Let's give it a go. This will be my 50th birthday kind of goal. And I did it. And I was so proud of the fact that here I am, going to be 50, and I competed in bodybuilding. And I looked damn good. I looked better than I did in high school. It was like, I was proud that I did it. It was hard work. I think the toughest thing about the whole journey was the eating part, because you're eating, 6 meals a day, every day. It's the same thing: fish, chicken, rice. It's the typical bodybuilder diet. And I did it for about 2 years. After I got done competing, you get in that space. Oh, I'm never going to gain the weight back. I'm always going to look like this. I'm always going to be jacked. That didn't happen. I very quickly gained weight back. And it really messed with my mind for about 2 years after I stopped competing. And I was in such a bad headspace. I would talk mean to myself. I'd look in the mirror and say bad things, like clothes weren't fitting like they used to. And like, I just didn't even enjoy looking at myself anymore. And I just, like, it hit me hard for two years. And I finally got myself out of it, and I thought, you know what, this is enough. I've got to start loving myself again. And so I started doing journaling, and every day I would write the same thing completely for a year, among other things that I had. Like, do not say bad things to yourself. Don't say anything negative. For a year, every day, I wrote that. Got me out of it. Now, I don't know that it took the whole year, but that was one of my things that I very much wanted to change my mindset about. And I did. And to this day, I still no longer will say negative things about, yeah, sure, I'll look in the mirror. I don't like how this looks or whatever, but to this day, I still refuse to say negative things to myself and love myself for who I am, no matter what stage I'm at. And so those two things with the COVID and the bodybuilding, I really, it gave me such a passion for wanting to help others that are in that type of space, because we all get there, no matter who we are. It's, you'll say mean things to yourself, and if you can't be kind to yourself, you don't stand a chance of improving your health. So again, I saw what the past few years have done to people, done to myself, and I really want to help change others' mindset and get them healthy in a more holistic way, and not expect the quick fix and a magic pill, because there is none.
Absolutely not. And I think that's yet another reason why we connect so well, is because we just want to help you. And when you have that burn in you, like, you just want to go out there and I just want to help. I just want you to feel better. I just want you to be proud of you. And that is one thing that you've really done for me, is make sure that I know that every single day. Be proud of yourself. Have joy. And I'm just grateful that we have had the chance to meet. And I know we've talked about bodybuilding, and I know a few other people that bodybuild. It is a mental, it's tough. It is definitely tough. And that you went through that. Just the food itself.
I still haven't eaten tilapia to this day. I cannot do it. Yeah, no. There's certain things but that's one. It's probably been, what am I, 54? So yeah, it's probably been 4 or 5 years. I haven't touched tilapia. I'm just like, no, thank you.
That was your daily.
Oh yeah.
Your daily protein.
Chicken, tilapia, egg whites. Egg whites smell gross to me anymore. So there's just a couple of triggers.
What was your daily meal like your little meals that you had?
In the morning, you have oatmeal and egg whites. Then you have like a protein snack, whether it's tuna, pack of tuna, chicken, and maybe some vegetables. Lunch, again, you're having chicken and broccoli and maybe some rice. Then you're having another snack, maybe some nuts. Very rarely any Greek yogurt, but usually nuts or an apple for a snack. And then dinner is like, okay, maybe some fish and some vegetables of some sort again. And it's just repeat. And I had a nutritionist helping me, and so every week I would send pictures off. He'd adjust the diet slightly. Maybe get a half a sweet potato. That was a real treat because it was sweet. And I was like, okay, this tastes great. I get a little treat there. But so it would get adjusted, but it was very much just the staples are egg whites, egg, oatmeal, chicken, tuna, maybe ground turkey, broccoli, rice.
Boy, the discipline. That is discipline. So, what would you have on your cheat days? Did you have very many of those?
No, we didn't. We
Wow.
didn't. Because it takes about 16 weeks to prep
Mm-hmm.
from start to stage ready. And there's a lot of manipulation involved with water manipulation and then your carbs right before you get on stage, that sort of thing. But no, after I competed a couple of times back to back, then you would have a cheat day and then you just get right back on it.
Oh gosh. That was determination.
It was, but when I have a goal in my head, I usually accomplish it.
I could see that out of you. Yeah.
And so it's really hard. Like, if somebody tells me no, or tells me that I can't accomplish something, I usually set out to prove them wrong.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm the same way. Tell me no, we're going to find a way to make this happen.
Yeah, I'm kind of stubborn that way. I mean, I'm a Scorpio, so I'm a little bit on the stubborn side, but I've learned to help, use that as my advantage, to my advantage.
That is so amazing. I love that. So, with going through everything that you have done, what is one of your favorite meals that you have now compared to when you were bodybuilding?
I don't know that I really have a favorite meal. I just enjoy the variety that I get to have right now.
Oh,
honestly.
Sure.
And I do like fresh fish, but if it's going to be fish, it's going to be like mahi or swordfish or something more meaty, halibut, something like that. But right now, I don't have a set diet for myself. I eat a variety. I like to cook more at home than go out and eat anymore because I know exactly what's in my food and I feel better. The stuff that, you go out to a restaurant and they put so much salt in it, the next morning I can immediately tell how much salt was in that field, and it looks like somebody socked me in both eyes because they just get swelled. But I enjoy just being able to eat whatever I want within reason, but also I try to eat as natural as possible. I try not to I don't buy frozen, meals. I don't buy boxed stuff very often. I read labels. I just really enjoy fresh food because when I do eat something crappy, I can immediately know. My body tells me.
Oh, yes.
I mean, if you really get to that point, then your body's going to tell you, hey, what the hell did you just put inside me? Because this doesn't feel good. And you immediately know. So, do I do that once in a while? Oh, sure. Nobody's perfect. But for most of the part, I like to eat clean and healthy.
So is that something with your coaching clients that you work with them on, is educating them on what's clean eating and what's not so great that they're eating?
Most definitely, because that's where a lot of people stumble. And it's to no fault of their own. And I have learned that over the years because I used to, when I was younger, I would go to the grocery stores and you look at people's carts, see what's in there, and see the person be like, well, if you didn't buy that, you probably, wouldn't look like that. And I can honestly say I had those thoughts when I was younger, and that was before I knew anything and was uneducated and stupid. Mm-hmm. Now I know very much that it is not the fault of what people are actually buying, because what has happened is the food industry has created these flavors and chemicals that they now put in foods that make people addicted.
Absolutely.
It changes their body chemistry. It changes your brain chemistry. And so people, without even realizing what they're doing, are going and grabbing off the shelves the things that have all of the chemicals and all of the things that are so bad for you. And it's no fault of their own. And it just infuriates me that we continue to create the foods that are making people addicted and then making them sick. And then we get to send them to the doctors, and the doctors get to give them a quick fix that doesn't address the core issues and doesn't solve anything. So very much, yes, that's where I work with clients to try and get them to steer clear of as much processed stuff as possible. And people roll their eyes and say, oh, that's so boring. It's, it's not going to taste any good, but that's far from the truth. It's the mindset change of if we can get past and we have to start with baby steps. I can't take a client and say, I want you to stop soda. I don't want you to have any sugar. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this. Change everything, because they might do it for a little bit and then get tired and go, I can't do this anymore. And then I've failed them as a health coach because I've pushed too much on them too quickly. So it's my job to get to know the client and go, okay, what can you do? What can you commit? Let's just try. If you're having soda every day, can we just try, let's 1 soda a day. Let's do that for a couple weeks. Okay, now how about every other day you just have a soda? And it might seem slow and tedious, but those are the things that work to change, because
it does work.
I used to drink soda all the time when I was younger. I'd have 2 or 3 Diet Coke, thinking, oh, Diet Coke's good for me. It's diet. There's no calories. I'm living the dream. I don't even drink it now anymore. I don't buy it. And it was those slow incremental steps that just thought, and now I don't even crave it. That's what I work on with clients, is to get them slowly moving toward healthier choices. Not by pushing them, but by helping them realize that, there's other alternatives and other means to step back from some of this.
Absolutely. I do the same thing with cancer patients. A lot of times I'll get, especially if they're going through chemo or anything when it comes to medication, a lot of times I'll say to them, like, oh, I'm not giving up cheese. I can't give up cheese. It's an addiction. I mean, it's like cocaine. I'm not giving up cheese.
I love my cheese.
I'm not giving up milk, or whatever it may be. So a lot of times that's how I approach it as well. Okay, how about if we can do this? Your treatments will go better if we don't have that in your system. So how about we try? Let's refrain from cheese the day before and the day after. So that way, chemo and whatever medications that they're taking, it will help with that. So I have to compromise too, and it's a lot of education when it comes to that. And I'm sure that you hear, like, well, the doctor never told me that I should stay away from this. So just to get to know you a little bit on a personal level, do you have a favorite movie or series that you like to watch?
Well, I'm more of a horror flick kind of girl. So I would say probably my top horror flick is Exorcist, hands down. Although I do love cars. I love fast cars. Another one of my favorites is Gone in 60 Seconds.
Really?
Yes. Because I love all the beautiful cars in it. It's like, makes me so happy. So yeah, between fast cars and horror flicks, those are probably.
Okay. So your favorite magazine is Oxygen?
They don't. I don't think they make Oxygen anymore.
It's Muscles.
Yeah, it's like Muscle and Her or something like that.
Yeah.
But Oxygen doesn't exist anymore. I don't really have a favorite magazine anymore.
What about favorite book?
Okay, so one of my very favorite books is The Shack. And I cannot remember who the author is, but they've made a movie out of it as well. Mm-hmm. And the very first time I read that book, the visualization I got from it was just crystal clear. And I can still remember reading it, and I was just blown away with how well the author helped you or made you visualize colors and just particular scenes. And to this day, that's always been my favorite book.
I love that book.
I mean,
it's
a tearjerker, but it's just the way that the author really honed in on it. I loved it.
What's the best advice someone has ever given you?
I don't know whoever gave it to me or where I heard it, but I kind of use it with all of my clients now, and it's kind of one of my signature things is like, give yourself grace.
Oh yeah, you've told me that many times. Yeah.
Because we're often too very hard on ourselves, so I always love the little saying, give yourself grace.
I love that. What about a mantra? Do you have a mantra that or a motivational quote of some sort?
That whole year I did do the manifesting. And one part of that was stop saying negative things to yourself. The other one was move to Florida. In between Clearwater, now the area is a little bit north of where I had always journaled. But it's damn sure happening. So there's something to be said about manifesting what you want to go after. Because we always focus on the things that you think about or write about. So if you're thinking or talking about negative things, that's where you're going to spend your time. If you're thinking or talking about positive things and changes, that's where you're going to find yourself. So whether you think that you can or you can't, you will.
Absolutely.
So maybe that's just my mantra. It's like, it's the thoughts that lead you where you are.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming on and talking. I know from the bottom of my heart you are going to be very successful in health coaching. I feel that anyone that has the privilege of working with you, you are going to change their lives. And I'm so excited that we've had this time together. I'm so excited that you've come along and helped me with my journey and where it's going to go from here. We're definitely a team.
Yeah, we definitely are. And I have been looking forward to this, and it has turned out way different and easier, I think, than I initially thought.
I told
you. So it's been really fun, and I'm excited for you to see where your magazine goes and how that grows. Looking forward to following all of that, and I'm looking forward to continuing your journey with you. It's just been an absolute pleasure and a blessing, and one of those blessings in my life. And you always will be.
Well, you know how I feel about you. It's absolutely the same. And I try not to cry. That's one thing that you always don't cry. But it is definitely, it's hard.
There's
it's
a
really
time
hard.
and a place for it. At the Party Friday was not the place for it.
I did well. It
You
was at the
did.
end.
You did.
Yeah, but
I tell you that because I don't want you to start me crying. That's why. I'm selfish about it. I'm like, if you start crying, I'm going to start crying.
it'll be good. We've got one more meeting before we
do.
Before we go to Zoom, and we'll make the best of it.
We will. It'll be different, but it'll still be good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.